everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Vanessa and I make lots of bookish and writing related content. So if that's something you're into, stick around and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a mashup review, and the books I'm going to be talking about are Twisted Fates by Danielle Rollins, One of Us is Next by Karen McManus, and 10 by Gretchen McNeil. So let's start off with Twisted Fates. So Twisted Fates is the second book in the Dark Stars series. I'm not sure how many books it's going to be. The first book is Stolen Time by Danielle Rollins. So since this is a sequel, I'm going to share with you the summary for the first book instead, just in case there's anyone here who hasn't read the first book yet. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so I'll read you that synopsis. So this is a time travel series, which I love, and it's about a girl named Dorothy who, in the first book, she is living in Seattle in the year 1913, and she's trying to escape from this arranged marriage. Now, Ash, since this book is told from dual perspective, Dorothy's and Ash. Ash is from New Seattle in the year 2077. Ash is a time traveler, and he's been traveling back in time to try to find his mentor, the professor, who has disappeared. When Ash crash lands in Seattle in 1913, his paths end up crossing with Dorothy's. Dorothy sees this as her way of escape when she comes upon Ash in his ship. She looks at it as a way for her to escape and get away from her arranged marriage in her life, not knowing that this is a time traveling ship and Ash is a time traveler from the future. She just thinks, oh, this is some sort of plane and he's like the pilot of the plane. And so she pretty much stows away on board his ship, and things get a lot more complicated when Ash returns to the year 2077 with a hidden Dorothy on his ship. So that's kind of the premise of the first book, which I loved, and I was just super excited to get to the next one and see where it goes from there. So with the second one, Twisted Fates, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved this one. I will say there was one negative point for me, so I'll start off with the negative before I get into everything I loved. And the only negative was that the first part was a little bit slow to me, and when I first started reading it, I was kind of like, is this book going to fall into the middle book syndrome where it's more like a filler book? But that's definitely not the case, because once you get to the second half, things pick up, it gets really good, and yeah, not a filler book at all. There's a lot we find out in this one, which is great. We get a lot of answers. But we also get a lot more questions that come up as well. There is another huge twist with the ending of this one. And again, like the first book, it leaves you on a huge cliffhanger. And I just cannot wait to get to the third book and find out what's going to happen. This is why sometimes I have issues with reading books when they first come out, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to wait for the next one. This is why sometimes I rather just have the whole series be done and out, and so I can marathon through the whole thing at once. And oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next one. So if you love sci-fi books, if you love time traveling books, definitely check this one out. I highly, highly recommend. The next book I'll talk about is One of Us is Next by Karen McManus. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a YA mystery thriller, and I just love Karen McManus' books. This one is also a sequel. It's the sequel to One of Us is Lying. However, I feel like this could be read on its own as a standalone. It doesn't necessarily have to be read after One of Us is Lying. This one, the setting is the same. It's the same town, same school, but most of the characters in here are different. We're following a different cast of characters. We do see a couple characters from the first book in this one, but they play more of side characters in here. They're not a major part of the plot. So, yeah. And, at the beginning of this one, they do reference the incident that happens in the first book in here. But again, it doesn't really tie into the plot of the story. This is its own separate plot, its own separate story, and it's not really connected or tied to the first one, which is why I say, I do feel like this one can be read on its own, but you can also read it after the first one. So there's that. I would say this is more like a companion than an actual sequel. It's like I said, we're following different characters, and it's a whole separate plot, separate storyline that it's not really, that doesn't really connect or tie in to the first one. So I won't tell you too much about this one, because I think it's best going into these type of books blind, but I will say that it involves a deadly game of truth or dare. So I will say I do like this one, but One of Us is Lying is still my favorite book by Karen McManus, but I did really enjoy this one. I will say I did kind of see the twist coming in this one, and maybe that's because I'm getting used to her writing style now, so I kind of know what to look for. So it's going to be harder for her to throw me off with their future books, but I'm still looking forward to them, because even though I kind of saw the twist coming, I still liked actually reading the reveals. And it's another one I highly recommend if you love mystery thrillers. I recommend all of her books because they're just so good. The last book I'll talk about is 10 by Gretchen McNeil. This is another YA mystery thriller, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't know until I read some other reviews on Goodreads on this book that this was inspired by Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. So I guess this was like a retelling or reimagining of And Then There Were None. And that's what I got from some of the other reviews. I've never read Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. From some of the other reviewers who have read that one, it sounds like this was kind of a disappointment or letdown. Again, I haven't read it, so I don't have anything to compare it to. And since I can't compare it to anything, I ended up really enjoying this one. I read this in just a few hours. It's a really quick, entertaining read. It definitely kept me guessing, and it took me by surprise when the twist at the end is revealed, which I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. So, yeah, I really liked the twist at the end. If you're new to the murder mystery genre and you kind of want to ease your way into it, this one might be a good one to start with. It's not very gory, and it keeps you turning the pages. While I do like murder mysteries, it's not a genre that I've read a ton in. So for those of you who have read a ton of murder mysteries, especially Agatha Christie's books, this this might not live up to your expectations or what you want. But for those kind of just starting out or haven't read that much in this genre, I think you probably would really enjoy this one as well. And again, for this, I'm not going to really tell you too much what it's about, because like I said, these books, mystery thrillers, are best going in blind, I think. But I will read you what it says on the cover, which is 10 teens, 3 days, 1 killer. So if that piques your interest, you might want to check this one out. So that's it for this video, you guys. Those are my reviews. If you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments below what you thought about them, but no spoilers, please. I don't want anyone to be spoiled who might be reading the comments. Also, let me know what is your favorite mystery thriller book. I definitely need to read more books in this genre. So let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!